and IMAX this Saturday at 4:30. He's also a Berks County native and former panelist right here on WEU's Radio Voices program. Let's welcome to the show, Joseph Lisa. Good afternoon.
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Very good. Thanks so much for calling today. You're in California right now, right?
Yes, I'm actually getting ready to get on a plane to come over to you guys.
So this is all really exciting for us and for you too, I assume. Tell us more about your movie Envision: Solace of Our Demons.
Well, Envision is the second film in our Envision series that we based in the Berks County area. What we did was we took part two and created the first half of the film in Berks County and then the second half of the film in Los Angeles. So we continued that off, and it continues the story of the first, but also leads into a much greater world. And pretty much what we've done with this film is kind of take a different spin on the crime genre instead of your typical one group versus the other group, clashing. It's a group of people that have the ability to look into the minds of others and therefore predict and manipulate the outcomes in their favor. And this group of people is becoming more and more of an influence in the world, kind of in the shadows and in the dark, and people don't really know about them. So we're kind of exploring that story with all these films.
When I was trying to do some research, IMDb, etc., it came off to me a little bit like science fiction. The things you're talking about, the psychics, Minority Report, or even Matrix. Does it have that kind of feel, or am I a little bit off?
No, in a way, you're on the right track. We tried to make it as different from films as possible, whereas you couldn't really connect it to one particular title. But yeah, a little bit of Minority Report, a little bit of I don't want to say crime mob drama, but it had kind of like that feel underneath it, but with like a science fiction tone with stuff throughout it.
Okay. On the IMDb page, Evan Tyler Stallone is one of the stars of your movie, and he's got a very impressive resume, NCIS, The Mentalist, Bones, and lots of other things. He's also from Berks County. How did you guys hook up?
Evan was involved in the very first Envision, and he was referred to me by a friend of mine that was previously casted before him in the original Envision. And we kind of just met up and went from there with the first film, and then we continued him in the second film, but in a much smaller way.
Okay.
But he moved out to LA a few months after me, and then he started getting all these roles on like you said, NCIS and Mentalist, and the roles he's telling me he's getting now are even crazier. It's awesome because we started out as Berks County filmmakers, and then he and I and a few others that weren't involved with this particular project, we all moved out to LA and kind of expanded on what we started in Berks County.
So the first Envision came out in 2013.
Yes.
Would people be able to go to the sequel this Saturday without having seen the first, or is there anything they need to kind of be brought up to speed to be ready to enjoy their experience?
Well, with this one, what we tried to do with this screening was kind of bring everyone up to speed with it so that we can come in and enjoy it. So before the movie plays, we actually have a sort of TV episode style previously on, feel thing that kind of brings you up to speed. But also the original film is available to watch for free now on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So if you just type in Envisioned on YouTube, it should come up, and you can take a look at that before you come and see the sequel.
In terms of target audience, what's the film rated, and who are you making it for?
Well, there's an official rating, but if I had to rate it, I'd probably say it'd be like a PG-13 rating.
Okay.
The target audience, I would say a younger audience between 18 and 25 range is probably the main target. But what we're trying to do with this project is ultimately turn it into a TV series. And these films are kind of the condensed versions of what the series will ultimately be. And if we keep going and we keep having success with these events and with this story, I think it's a very big possibility it'll be happening in the near future.
So I've got some more questions to ask you, but I think there's a good point to say. How can people attend the screening? Can they walk up and buy at the door at the Reading IMAX, or do they need to purchase in advance? How does that work?
Either one. I would recommend purchasing in advance because it seems like we're getting a lot of reserve tickets. So
That's great.
you can get that on rctheaters.com or movietickets.com, I believe. It's on Saturday at 4:30. The movie starts. We have a red carpet that opens up a half hour before that at 4 o'clock, where everyone can take pictures in front of the backdrops and all of that. But yeah, you can get them at the door, or you can reserve them online.
So you're both the writer and the director of this project. Is it hard? Is it difficult?
Yeah, that's an understatement. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I've become obsessed with. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's a constant logistical puzzle that you're solving on a daily basis, and you kind of get accustomed to that lifestyle. And once you do, and the movie's over, and you're just kind of sitting there doing nothing, it drives you insane. So, yeah.
Is there any part about it that's the most challenging, whether it be finding financing or casting or trying to shoot within a budget? What's the hardest?
Well, this particular film didn't have a budget per se. I mean, it did obviously cost money, but it was mostly out-of-pocket expenses.
Okay.
So what we did was, that's actually part of the biggest challenge, was we made this feel like a budgeted film without a budget. So I have a bunch of people here in LA and in Berks County that have gone through very extensive training to bring a level of professionalism to this project and create a film that hopefully feels like it did have a lot of funding behind it. But the most difficult thing, especially with not having that officially behind you, is when you create a film like this, you have to rely on people's generosity in a way.
Sure.
So you have to bring a crew on that is very committed to the project, very dedicated without receiving any or very little money, and then having locations and people that own these spots to let you use the location without permits or without compensation for that. In LA, it's a little bit more difficult because there's many more laws, because obviously there's a lot more filmmakers here that prohibit run and gun shooting style that we kind of do for this. But in Berks, it was pretty easy, and that's one of the main reasons I love shooting there, because you can do many things that in LA you would need a lot of money to do.
Are you able to tell us what locations you shot at in our area here?
Sure. The two that would be recognizable would be the William Penn Memorial Fire Tower up on Skyline Drive. Mm-hmm. And then out of Berks County, the other recognizable would be Centralia, Pennsylvania, the graffiti-covered old Route 61, I think it was.
Okay.
So we did a sequence there at the fire tower, yeah.
So it sounds like from everything you're saying, you're very much an indie filmmaker, right?
At this point, yeah. This is going to be my final no-budget film. We're moving on to bigger projects now, but yeah, at this point, yes.
I remember in the 1990s, Kevin Smith is, I'm sure, a name that you know. That first Clerks he shot was black and white and was very much an indie film. But you look at some of the people that were in his early films, and Mallrats, and you look at guys like Ben Affleck right now, who, he's Batman. And so certainly the template's out there, and it sounds like you're really on the right track and doing a great job.
Thank you.
Was it difficult for you to leave home to move out to California and just kind of get in there with all the other aspiring filmmakers and actors and actresses?
Well, the thing I loved about moving to LA was in Berks, I was very, I don't want to say alone, but there's not many filmmakers that are in the area. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to LA, and everyone's a filmmaker. Everyone wants to be a part of projects, and everyone owns equipment. Everyone is obsessed with the industry. And to be thrown in that environment was at first overwhelming, but then something that I completely enjoyed and fell in love with afterwards.
So you love the West Coast now?
Yeah, definitely here. I'm home now. I actually just officially became a California resident, so it's official now.
I have a cousin who spent some time. He, creative type, moved out to LA for a while, and he had a roommate who was an actor. He may still be acting for all I know. And he told me that the movie Swingers with Vince Vaughn was a very accurate portrayal of what it was like trying to succeed in Hollywood at that time. Do you still feel that maybe that's true if you've seen the film?
Yeah, in some ways.
Okay.
It's really hard to describe what it's like to make it in the industry out here. It's like nothing else in the world, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Very tough, very, very, very competitive, and I think it's becoming harder now because with technology, there's pros and cons obviously, because now anyone can make a movie, but at the same time now there's so many movies you kind of have to prove that you're a different kind of filmmaker in a way. So, before you just kind of searched for financiers or for some way to get your film off the ground. Now anyone can make one. So it's obviously it's good and bad thing. But
well, what do you do what do you do to set yourself apart? Is the quality of filmmaking, of course, but marketing and using Facebook and social media. How do you do it?
Yeah, social media. I mean, the main thing obviously is the final product. You have to put all your effort into that. But afterwards, definitely marketing. Social media obviously has helped tremendously for new filmmakers and getting the word out there. And I don't know, it's just creating stories that feel original and have a level of depth to them that you can be proud of, and not just adding to the noise of all these movies that are out there now.
Sure. Do you have any words of wisdom to the next generation of filmmakers?
Be persistent. It's going to have so many ups and downs, and this is the most unpredictable industry you could ever enter. You have to be prepared that nothing is going to be continuous. Nothing's going to be consistent. Where you're not going to get a job after job after job. There's going to be some points where you feel like you've just lost everything, and you have to actually overcome that and get back on your feet. It's tough. Only the strongest survive it. But if you truly want it, keep being persistent, keep perfecting your craft, keep making movies, get all the training and advice you can from people that you see as better filmmakers than yourself, and just go for it.
I also want to ask, you have been on WEEU before. You were a panelist on Radio Voices. Do you have fond memories of being on that program and with Nick Lawrence?
Oh, I love that show. That was awesome. I enjoyed that, and obviously writing for Voices. That panel, I really look forward to that on Sundays, because it's just, I think that was my first experience kind of speaking to a larger audience, and in a way helped me progress into what I do now, which is pitching films. So it really helped me out, and it was a great experience to have while you're in high school.
Well, it's fantastic. Thanks so much for being on WEEU and for calling in today, and we wish you a lot of luck. The film again is Envisioned: Solace of Our Demons. It's playing at the Reading Movies 11 and IMAX this Saturday at 4:30. People can get tickets at the door, but you say better idea to get them at the website. Do you have that address again?
There's two of them, movietickets.com or rctheaters.com. You just take the Reading Theater.
Joseph, thanks so much for your time. I wish you continued success, and check back in, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
That's Joseph Lisa. Again, the name of his film is Envisioned: Solace of Our Demons, playing this Saturday. A special screening, 4:30 at the Reading Movies 11 and IMAX. We'll step aside for a brief break. We'll come right back with AccuWeather and traffic.